Hi, and welcome to this overview of EdCaliber. The purpose of this video is to give you a brief introduction and overview of what's in EdCaliber, as well as how to navigate through its resources. You might be asking yourself, what is EdCaliber? Well, EdCaliber is an online repository of curriculum. Not only the curriculum that teachers have been developing last school year and will be developing this school year. That kind of curriculum will be on EdCaliber, as well as some other types of educational resources that will also be available in EdCaliber. I'm going to concentrate on 4 areas today, taking a look at getting started and looking at your account, where to find the Common Core standards that will be available to you online, what are those curriculum resources that will be available to me and how do I navigate them, and then finally we'll take a look at the calendar. Let's start by getting started. If I look at the top right, I've successfully logged in. If you have any troubles logging in, please send me an email and I can make sure that you have an account, and if need be, I can reset your password and then you can reset it. I see my name, and then over here to the right of my name, I've got a gearbox where I can click, and I've got some choices there. First of all, I've got my profile. Here's a generic icon that's available to me, but I could choose to edit that and upload another photo, avatar, and that will be what gets displayed up here to the top right. On this page, you'll also see any groups that you're associated with. At any point that you want to head back to what might be called the home page, you simply want to click on the EdCaliber icon at the top left. The other area I want to touch upon here is My Account. And this is where you can see your username as your district email. You can make sure your time zone is correct. There are some preferences you can turn on or off. There are notifications you could elect to receive or not receive, and then at any point you could change your password. Now, let's take a look at the standards that are available. First of all, we have 4 icons across the top, and these are 4 tabs, and we'll touch upon some of them. Others will have to wait till another time. Within the Resources tab, I've got 3 tabs here that we'll come back to. One of them, though, is Standards. When I click on Standards, I can see that what's available to me are all of the Common Core standards, as well as the California Content Standards. Using a Windows-like interface, this triangle to the left of the icon can simply be turned on or off to show what's below it. If I click on 4th grade ELA, it opens that window. I could also use the triangle here. And I could see my 4th grade Common Core standards that are available to me. Reading for literature, reading for informational text, and so on. If I choose to focus here on a particular standard within a particular cluster, let's say 4.1, I can mouse over and get a digest of what the standard is. But if I click on it, I'm not only going to get the standard, but I'm going to get a whole lot more information. This is worth exploring. For standard 4.1, under Reading Informational Text, I first of all see that I'm in the 4th grade English Language Arts, and I've got my breadcrumb across the top. And I could use that to navigate back if necessary. I've also, for those standards where the standard is basically the same, but it gets built upon throughout the grade levels, you'll see across the top a standards progression. So in this case, if I say I'm a 4th grade teacher, I could see what was the expectation back in 3rd grade for this very same standard, and what will be the expectation in 5th grade for this very same standard. So I could see very clearly where I fit within the spectrum of the standard and the things that are different between 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Scrolling down, I could see a description of the standard, an overview, which contains the anchor standard that it supports, some unpacked concepts and skills, student I can statements, and here, for each standard, they have the brand new English language development standards that are aligned with this standard. So for 4.1, I could see what should be expected for an emerging EL student, an expanding EL student, and a bridging EL student. I've got some academic vocabulary for this particular standard, both in English and Spanish, some questions and prompts, sentence frames, and some mentor text or exemplar text that I could use to teach the standard. And then finally, what are some of the assessment questions that have been released for Smarter Balance that actually are designed to assess this particular standard so that you could take a look at that. You can see that this is a PDF file of some Smarter Balance questions. And then finally, what are some of the related resources that are available in EdCaliber related to this standard? So in the Standards tab, you'll find not only the standards, but a lot of supporting information that can be used as you're developing curriculum. For the Resources tab, you'll find that there are tabs that get opened up here, much like a web browser where you have multiple tabs open. At any point that you find you have multiple tabs open, you can simply close them. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this middle icon, but just know that that's a link to your Google Drive, such that you could add resources from your drive to the resources in EdCaliber. So now let's dive into the Resources tab. This is really the heart of EdCaliber. You'll find two main areas here in the Resources tab over here on the left. First of all, you've got My Folders and you've got Folders Shared with Me. Under My Folders, you have automatically created for you a folder with your name on it. This folder, very much like Google Drive, is just an online storage resource for you. It's only going to be visible to you until you elect to share the folder or a resource within it with your peer, your grade level, your school, or the district. If we take a look at this, I can use the triangle to take a look at what's in my folder, and you can see I've got a test folder. I could also just click on that and it will display the contents over here on the right. And again, you can see I have a test folder. I added this test folder by simply clicking New Folder. The other way to do that is to come here and hover over your name, and you'll notice the icon changes to the left of the G. It moves from a folder to a wrench. If I click on that wrench, there's another way that I could add a resource. I could add a file, a video, a website. Now, what are kind of the resources you might want to add to your folder? Well, it really can be anything. As you can see here in this list, you may be creating a quiz. You might be creating a handout. You could also add a website that you want to demo or you want your students to explore. You could add a video, such as YouTube, Vimeo. It could be a PowerPoint, could be a Word document, a PDF, an audio or video file. And you could also bring over anything in your Google Drive. You could store your resources that you want to add in your folder. Here, for example, I added a website. I was looking online, I found a website that I thought I might be able to use later, and so I added it as a resource to my test folder. And it lets me know here that I've saved this site, Guru, and it gives me a photograph of what the homepage looks like for that website. I could tie this particular website to a standard. I could add keywords, related resources, and such. And as you can see here, I could go directly to that website from EdCaliber simply by clicking right here on this link. Down below your folder is a folder called Folders Shared with Me. Now, this particular area contains all of the resources that are automatically available to everyone. So the folder Shared with Me basically contains the district curriculum resources that are available. So these are put in a folder that everyone sees, and they all see all of these things. You can change the order of what you see simply by clicking on this little reorder icon, and you'll be able to rearrange that. And that's exactly what I've done here, electing to put the Castro Valley units of study that have been developed and put online over the summer first, and then some of the other states' Common Core curriculum, and then finally some of the other online things that have been placed here in EdCaliber. As we continue to develop curriculum, it will be added to this, and this list will continue to grow over time. So you may notice it changing and growing as we go through the school year. Over the summer, as I said, some of the K-5 work was put online. In the coming weeks and months, I'll probably be adding some of the 612 resources. But as an example, let's take a look at what's inside the math units for K-5. If I click on that, I can see that there's a list of grade levels. I'm in the Castro Valley math units. I see kindergarten through grade 5, and at any point I could choose to click on a grade level, and within that grade level I could see I've got 5 PDF files that are available to me. I've got a list of the third grade units for the entire year, as well as the first trimester units that have been fleshed out and put online. And then the essential standards work that was also done last year. In addition to the Castro Valley resources, the Engage New York curriculum is here. And again, I can click on that, and I can then see all of the curriculum broken up by grade level. If I click on 8th grade, I can then dive into ELA or math, and then there are the resources that are available there. So at a later point, you'll be free to explore all of the resources that are here, including Khan Academy videos that have been tied to standards, Math Vision Project, Learn Zillion resources, so on and so forth. The final area we're going to take a look at here is the calendar. Now the calendar is a place much like your lesson plan calendar that you can use to create your resources and actually place resources on the calendar to help you remember what you need to teach on a particular week, month, or day. This drag and drop icon allows you to take resources from your Google Drive or from the Resources tab that we looked at and be able to drag them onto the calendar so that you know that on Tuesday you're going to use the PowerPoint that's in your Google Drive as the basis for your lesson, and on Wednesday you're going to use the Khan Academy video from the Resources Shared with Me tab to be able to add that to your calendar. Much like the Resources tab, you've got your calendar, which is your calendar that will only be visible to you until you elect to share it, and then you've got Calendar Shared with Me. To get an idea of what you can do with a calendar, we're going to concentrate on looking at the Engage New York calendars. If you've had an opportunity to explore the Engage New York curriculum, you know that your typical module or unit could be 20 some odd pages long, and it's hard to decipher what it is I need to do on a particular day. How do I break that into a 5-day lesson plan? Well, with EdCaliber, they've done a lot of that work for us. So they've taken the Engage New York modules and broken them down into a daily lesson plan, a weekly lesson plan, as well as an overall unit that might stretch for 5 days or 15 days. So for example, again, I can see that I've got all of the Engage New York calendars available to me in EdCaliber, all the way from kindergarten, pre-K, all the way up to 8th and 9th grade. These are all available to me. Much like Google Calendar, you need to understand that all of these calendars are like filters or levels that you can turn on or off, and that means when they're turned on, they will display on your calendar on the right, and then you could turn them off. For example, I'm again a 4th grade teacher, and I want to see what the Engage New York 4th grade curriculum is. Now that I've clicked on it, this icon is filled in with a purple color, and that tells me that all of the purple items on my calendar now are related to my 4th grade ELA curriculum. I could see that I've got a defense mechanisms unit that stretches over at least 3 weeks. And then I could also see on a daily basis what is my lesson for that unit on the Engage New York curriculum. Similarly, I could elect to say, well, I also want to see what my math curriculum is for the Engage New York. And then you'll see a goldenrod color next to the math curriculum, so that as I look at this calendar, anything that is goldenrod is my math curriculum, anything purple is my language arts curriculum. And I can turn those off or on as I see fit. Currently, the only Castro Valley calendar that's available is one that was developed and shared only with me at this point, and that's the Algebra 1 curriculum. As we begin to develop more curriculum and understand more about what might be happening on a particular day, those calendars will be available to you as well. So that's a brief overview of the resources that are available to you in EdCaliber. Look for more training coming at your site or at the district level to give you the opportunity to do some more hands-on exploration of EdCaliber. Again, if you have any problems logging in or any questions, please feel free to send me an email. Thank you.